Peace and love. Peace and love. I'm rocking to the sounds and vibrations against prosperity is your birthright. As always, I'm not a licensed, and sometimes it can be quite entertaining. Now is the time to hit like, subscribe. If you have a few dollars in the Cash App and you find this information valuable, leave a donation. I don't care if it's $1, I don't care if it's $5, I don't care if it's $10, $20, $100, whatever you find it to be of value to you. Or gotta make sure I'm good because you see me. I'm always smoking. All this helps. If you can, leave a donation, leave a comment, like, subscribe, share. Create another account, like, subscribe, share. Keep doing it. Help your boy out. Do whatever you can to support the cause, even when you can't. You feel me? God is good all the time, though. You must know that for creators in your life. Anything helps you in your life, you should always what you can to give it honors. Um, granted, organic weed wraps today. Now's the time to go ahead and if you're gonna take notes, take notes. Gonna roll up real fast. Blaze one for the. I don't know nothing about it. I don't know nothing about it. Much peace and love. So I got some great material for you today. At the Holiday Inn. Holiday Inn be taxing. I ain't stayed at those since like Baton Rouge. I stayed at one in Baton Rouge on Airline Road. And you know about it, I had a seminar there in February. Tapping in, tapping in. I got some great stuff for y'all. Peace and love, Sarah Paula Abrams. Peace and love, peace and love. I'm letting everybody, I'm letting other people come join that share. I'm gonna dig in deep today. I don't know if you guys know what uniform commercial code is. Uniform commercial code. A lot of people talk about it, but they don't really dig deep into it. They have you guessing. A lot of people just have you guessing about a lot of this information. And that's one thing I want to change. That's one thing I'm peace child. First and last, peace and love. This is one thing I'm here to change. I'm coming here to change. So let's get to it. So uniform commercial code, the application of commercial law. So the purpose is to find out really what's going on behind the scenes. Provide a brief summary. This is my purpose tonight, okay? Provide a summary on the differences in bodies of law by definition. more definitions regarding titles, property, and possession. You give an overall view on how to get back control of your universe. Now, I'm I don't want to get a lot of people confused. So this is for the more advanced people about the UCC1 and that contract and how to properly file it and explain how to establish own private treaties with the world. Okay, you have to create private treaties with the world. So the final product indefinitely is to control one's body and one's property. So there's different ways of doing that. I like doing it on the public side with corporations and trust, okay, and LLC. The first order of law is natural law. Some people call it common law. Some people call it universal law. These are universal principles. Really should be common sense, but common sense ain't common to all. So these are universal principles which so necessarily agrees with nature and the state of being that without observing their inherent maxims, the peace and happiness of society can never be preserved. Knowledge and natural laws may be attained merely by the light of reason from the facts of their essential agreeableness with the constitution of human nature. Natural law exists regardless of whether it is enacted as positive law. When law began to emerge into human consciousness, which is thought, word, and deed, when law began to emerge into human consciousness, which is thought, word, and deed, we came to the next order of law on this planet. The most fundamental law of all human law has to do with survival, which is a universal principle. And a lot of people don't know. If you read, and I don't know why this isn't out here. You read Charles Darwin, okay, the evolution, okay. He was racist. You have to read the whole book of Charles Darwin and what he wrote about the so-called Aryan race, okay. I just want to throw that out there. When you have a public education system, when you have a public education, you're only given half truths and a lot of things in reverse. I'm digging deep today. I'm digging deep for y'all. I'm not running around in circles, none of that. I'm digging deep, so catch up, take notes. It has to do with human interactions of any kind, any relationships, buying, selling, or trading, or relating in any ways. It is based upon treating or dealing with others the way that you would like to be treated or dealt with. This is the law of commerce. The law of commerce has been in operation since man interacted with each other, starting many thousands of years ago through the Sumerian and Babylonian area, where it was codified and enforced. Ancient artifacts dating over 6,000 years old reveal that the system was so complex it even included receipts, coin money, shopping lists, manifestos, and a postal system with the medium being in baked clay. These are facts. As a derivative of commercial law being removed from natural law and therefore inferior is common law. This emerged basically in England out of disputes over a portion of the earth in allodium, which allodium is the sovereign ownership of land, and was based on common sense. So common law is the law of earth. Common law gave rise to the jury system and many writs and processes which governments have absorbed and statuized, made into statutes, made into rules and regulation processes in court. Common law procedures were based on the opportunity to face your accuser or the injured party in front of witnesses to sort out the problem directly. This process was never intended to include lawyers, attorneys, or judges construing their own law as these titles are all based upon the fiction of representation, which can never be the real thing. These titles are all based upon the fiction. These titles are all based upon the fiction. These titles are all based upon the fiction of representation, which can never be the real thing. The representatives, the representations, the fiction, the government actors. It's all against. And their laws and legislative regulations ad infinitum of the organic republics of the states. The only laws that the state can create is to allow commerce to flow more efficiently within the state. The only law the central government, United States of America, all lowercase, could create was to allow commerce to flow more efficiently between the states. It was never intended to regulate people, the sovereigns. Kendall Rob Pi Ramis. Peace, peace, peace. So more or less the politics and the private or copyrighted company policies of foreign corporations such as the United States, all capitalized letters, all capital, the state of, all capital, the county of, all capital, the city of, all capital, etc. Hence the term Capitol Hill. Hence the term capital, meaning money, liquid capital. Everything's capital, Capitol Hill. The purpose of these municipalities, Latin, which would be munus, service, gift, exchange, capere, to take service in exchange, is to govern fictitious entities such as your capitalized name, John Doe, or Kmart, or Walmart, not to regulate people. Remember, back when you thought you were the all capitalized name, because that is how it's written on your driver's license or your ID or your social, so you believe that was you. One of our problems is that when we engage with government, municipalities, and other such elements in all our dealings in the law, when have been conditioned to interact on and their level, we have never risen to the level where the base of law is, where the reality, the power, the solidity, the sovereign level, you understand? But now we can function in this powerful level. This is checkmate, okay? This is the end of the game. This is the remedy. There we go, dig deep in Cobbers. Peace of love, Timothy Lawton. Peace of love. The principles and maxims and precepts of commerce law are eternal, unchanging, and unchangeable. They utilize the Bible in the courtroom. The Bible is a fact in the courtroom. You know, if you understand estate planning in estates, you know, you'll understand the will and testament. So you got the Old Testament. You have the Old Testament and you got the New Testament. And these are all facts in the courtroom. You understand? All facts in the courtroom. Tom Washington, peace and love, peace and love. Appreciate the kind words. So we learned that the law of commerce hasn't changed for thousands of years. That forms the underlying foundation for all law on this planet and for governments around the world. It is the law of the nations and everything that human civilization is built upon. This is why it's so powerful. When you operate at this level by these precepts, nothing that is of inferior statute can overturn or change it or abrogate it or meddle with it. It remains the fundamental source of authority and power and functional reality. Now, next, the affidavit, the spoken word, okay? Corporations can't make affidavits. It has to be a person, okay? It has to be a live being. Commerce in everyday life is the vehicle or glue that holds or binds the corporate body politic together. More specifically, commerce consists of a mode of interacting, doing business, or resolving disputes whereby all matters are executed under oath or certified on each party's commercial's liability by sworn affidavit, or what is intended to possess the same effect as true, correct, and complete, not misleading the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. This affidavit is usually required for an application for a driver's license, an IRS Form 1040, voter's registration, a direct treasury account, a notary's copy certification, or certifying a document on nearly every single document that the system desires others to be bound or obligated. Such means of signing is an oath or commercial affidavit executed under penalty of perjury, true, correct, and complete. Whereas in a court setting testimony, oral is stated in judicial terms by being sworn to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. So it's a sworn affidavit. It's a verbal affidavit. In addition to asserting all matters under solemn oath of personal, commercial, financial, and legal liability for the validity, to know that every statement the participant must provide material evidence, ledgering, even bookkeeping, providing the truth, relevance, and verifiable of each and every particular assertion to sustain credibility. Commerce is more fundamental to society that courts or legal systems and that exist and function without respect to courts or legal systems. Commercial law, the non-statutory variety as presented below in maxims 1 through 10, is the economic extension of natural law into man's society and into man's social world, and is universal in nature. The fundamental and is necessary and sufficient principles in maximum commerce. Okay, these are the maxims of law. Number one, the 10 maxims of law or precepts in commercial law. If you've been in this in this game for a while, you know these. A workman is worthy of his hire. Number one, all are equal under the law. Number two, all are equal under the law. Number three, in commerce, truth is sovereign. Your word is your bond, and it can be expressed. Number four, truth is expressed in the form of an affidavit, such as a true bill. Number five, which is so important, an unrebuted affidavit stands as truth in commerce. And it's number five for a reason, because that's your freedom. 5 means freedom. An unrebuted affidavit stands as truth in commerce. Number 6, most important as well. An unrebuted affidavit becomes a judgment in commerce. There's nothing left to resolve. It's unrebuted. 7, in commerce, for any matter to be resolved, it must be expressed. There's no issue unless it's expressed. Number 8, he who leads the battlefield first loses by default. Number 8, sacrifice is the measure of credibility. No willingness to sacrifice means no liability, no responsibility, authority, or measure of conviction. So, no sacrifice means no liability. That's why when you're with these creditors, these so-called creditors, they didn't put nothing up for collateral. So how can they ever be the creditor? Number 9 is satisfaction of a lien. And number 10, a lien or claim can be satisfied only through rebutable affidavits, point by point resolution, or by jury or payment. Those are 10 maxims of law. Us, Ram and Ra, peace and love. Now you need to understand commercial processes are non-judicial, they're prejudicial, and they're more powerful than judicial processes. Commercial processes are non-judicial and are more powerful than commercial processes. Put that in the chat for you. Commercial processes are non-judicial and they're prejudicial and are more powerful than judicial processes. This is why estate planning is important. This is why it's important to understand the act as a trustee or act as a authorized representative from your corporation standpoint, from a corporate standpoint, because everything is commercial. Everything is done through contracts and adhesions before you go to court. The case is already pretty much solidified before you go to court. They're just seeing how you act. Your words can bind you even more. Your actions can bind you even more, especially through scare tactics. When you have a commercial lead, okay, you take that to the Secretary of State to file as a UCC1 financial statement, okay? Then as soon as you finish filing the original criminal complaint with the prosecuting attorney, this is how you create a lien. You file this lien against every so-called agent or anybody individually. This criminal complaint is optional, okay? They can't hide behind the skirts of a corporate state, this fictional entity created by man to be able to engage in actions which you would not otherwise be able by virtue of natural and moral law. It just doesn't work. You can use the same collection process against them just as the IRS uses against you. This is for any corporation, agent. You have to pull them from their character. You have to pull them from their title. You have to get them to their, if you was going to do it against the agents, so to speak. This is the proper use of a UCC1. I don't know why you'd want to put a lien against yourself. And you don't have a corporation. So, and you don't have a corporation. Now, there's a way to create a non-negotiable private bond for set off for your birth certificate bond, okay? So, it would be in accordance with HJR 192, which is June 5th, 1933, Chapter 48 Statute 112. You accept your birth certificate for value and makes you exempt from levy. And it's in accordance with public law when you do this, all right? With the code I just codified in the Uniform Commercial Code. The principal being the sole authorized acceptor of the said bond, contributor of value thereto, and contributing to the beneficiary thereof. You deposit this bond to an account bearing the registered mail number that you create for future identification purposes, to be used for set off of any and all bills, taxes, liabilities, and claims against your strawman name as listed on the certificate of live birth, which would be the filing number, and then it would be your strawman name against the principal debtor, your strawman full name. Now you please transfer all assets from the principal's previous such accounts bearing the registered numbers Please adjust any and all such bills, taxes, claims, and liabilities to a zero ending balance or ending balance favorable to the principal. Charge, settle, and close any such account and return all interest to the principal in care of the above location. Respondent shall have 30 days from the date of verified receipt of this bond to perform or dishonor this bond by returning it with all attachments to the principal at the above noted location by non-domestic post. Failure to do so, return shall constitute respondent's acceptance of and performance on all terms and provisions herein. This bond shall be posted as an asset to the benefit of the United States Department of Treasury and shall expire upon expiration of the principal. Then you get it notarized by draw E. Your exemption ID number. This is for calls. Deposit to the U.S. Treasury and credit to the account fit of your strawman name and then the account. It's a simple birth certificate bond. A simple birth certificate bond. William Counsel, peace and love. So I'm gonna drop down the definition of a monetary instrument. Monetary instrument includes currency, a traveler's check in any form, instruments including personal checks, promissory notes. The term is defined in the Uniform Commercial Code, and money orders that are either in bearer form, endorsed without restrictions, made out to a fictitious payee for the purpose of, or otherwise in such forms that title thereto passes upon delivery. Incomplete instruments, including personal checks, business checks, official bank checks, cashier's checks, third-party checks, promissory notes, as that term is defined in the Uniform Commercial Code, and money orders signed but with the payee's name omitted. In securities or stocks in bearer form or otherwise in such form that title thereto passes upon delivery. Monetary instruments do not include warehouse receipts or bills of lading. Originator, the sender or the first payment order in a funds transfer. Y'all need to know what these definitions are. You got to study the definitions. So here's the affidavit of abatement. We're going to look up the word abatement for you. Gotta let everybody know what it means. The ending, reduction, or lessening of something. This is what abatement means. It means it's ending something. Check this out. Affidavit of abatement. And no TL. I'm gonna look that up too. And it means like you spell this NULTIEL. A nil TL record. A plea alleging the record on which the action is found that does not exist. That's what it means. I'll put it in the chat. So this is the no-till corporation. This is what we're putting in the it's a notice of assertion and abatement is given that no such corporation exists. Okay, this is how you come out. This is how you can come out. There's so many ways to skin a cat. Okay, so this is how we do it. Malik Kalam, a sovereign man on standing, denies there is no such corporation bearing the name. It would be my all straw man name, nor is there such presumed corporation assignable to said sovereign man by legislative fiat. Whereas Don Kalam declares no TL corporation, no such corporation exists bearing the name, my straw man name, The form of a plea denying the existence of an alleged corporation under the common law practice, a plea of no TL corporation was a simple negation or denial of capacity which the plaintiff sued and was not an avertment of an affirmative fact. A plea that the plaintiff corporation is not a corporation either de jure or de facto and consequently not entitled to sue is not a plea of ultra virus, which assumes an incorporation either de jure or de facto in a misuse of or departure from a franchise, but is a plea of no till corporation. Whereas there are two classes of citizens under American law never repealed. Federal citizens were not even contemplated when Article 3 was being drafted. Pinnell versus Renault is definite on this important point. Federal citizenship is a municipal franchise domiciled in the District of Columbia. Murphy versus Ramsey. The political rights of federal citizens are franchises, which they hold as privileges in the legislative discretion of Congress. The standing of state citizens to invoke any Title 42 municipal remedy, in part because these remedies originate in the 1866 Civil Rights Act, the federal municipal statute. State citizens are not subject to federal municipal law. At all times, this state acting in the name of the state of Missouri, having legislative jurisdiction, gives cause for, it would be your name, to preserve his right to move to a common law cause of action for the appropriation of his birth name to be bastardized for commercial purposes. It may be pleaded by alleging this state's misuse of your name, identity, manipulation of your name, proper name to this state's exclusive advantage, both commercially and otherwise, lack of consent to craft the likeness of my birth name for commercial and other purposes, and to the extreme prejudice of your name, to wit, your name, and the resulting and ongoing injury, both commercial and otherwise. Also, consideration is likely reserved to move for a RICO investigation regarding the issue of authorizing the birth name on state of Missouri commercial instruments as for-profit enterprise and thereby a taxable event. This state's decision to use a name upon commercial instruments other than my birth name, whether such decision rests on religious, material, martial, commercial, or other personal consideration, does not imply intent to set aside my birth name or identity associated with that name. Unlike a registered trademark, my proper name cannot be deemed abandoned by me throughout this processor's life, despite any failure to use it and continue to use it privately or commercially. I, then you spell your name, declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States of America, the foregoing is true and correct. That's the affidavit right there. And then listen, this is an added. The corporate existence of a corporation was an issue under a plea of the general issue. The generally accepted view was that the existence of the corporation was not put in issue by a plea of general issue. This appears to be the better view, as a function of the general issue was to deny material allegations of facts in the plaintiff's declaration. The corporate existence of the plaintiff were put in issue. The general issue would be placing in issue a question of law, as the corporate existence of the plaintiff can only be determined by construing the charter of the incorporation and construction of the written document involving the question of law. The general issue alone, therefore, should operate as an admission of the corporate existence of the plaintiff. If it is desirable to place it in the issue, the defendant should specifically traverse the corporate existence of the plaintiff by use of plea no TL corporation. Now, always enter a plea of general traverse, a negative plea under general traverse. That's one thing you want to do if you ever have to take those routes in the courtroom. But you got to understand, the legalese. And I'm gonna go into that. I'm gonna go into that here shortly. I'm about to roll up another blunt. We're about to go into that. The legalese of words. Which a lot of us even new to a lot of us. A lot of us already know this stuff. And I know, man, I cram, pack so much in such a little period of time. Y'all gotta digest this stuff for a second. See, when you understand everything is a box, everything's a box out here in this fictitious world. Your house is a box, your street's a box, your month's a box, your day's a box. Your phone's a box, your computer's a box, your TV's a box. That's your coffin. They keep you. This is why they say think outside the box. As soon as you can think outside the box, they're coming in. They're gonna come holler at you. So you gotta learn how to protect yourself. Protect your soul, protect your spirit. They want your soul. Death means death. They want your soul. Learn how to create it for humanity. Learn how to serve humanity. There's a negative force out there. You have to be the positive force. And that's a fact. I'm teaching y'all this for the right reasons, to save your soul. To create generational wealth. That's what it's about. Generational wealth. Asset protection. You got to create assets first. You shouldn't be investing nothing unless it's going to better your life. No, without a doubt, it's going to make you better. Research. Research. Do as much research as possible. Do your own research. A lot of people just take a lot of people's word for it. Please do your own research. What makes me certified? Look. I'll show you what's behind me, man. My credentials. Y'all see me out here on a daily basis. I live this life. Traveler, I got the black card. American Express black card. I live this life, man. Got it under trust. You understand trust. That's the traveler's identification. This is trust on it. Y'all see it? Trust. Titanium. This is the life I live on the regular. Everywhere I go. It's a show. Don Kalam show. Everywhere I go, it's a Don Kalam show, baby. Everywhere I go, Don Kalam show. That's what it is, man. Keys open doors. Believe in yourself first, though. It's confidence. Seeing is believing. So you gotta see yourself with it, man. Visualize. Tell yourself daily it's possible. These corporations are fictitious entities. They're made up thoughts. So you just gotta create your own life. Imagine your own life. But everything's a box. So you gotta learn their rules too. Okay? Learn their rules too. Learn how to operate in their box too. Stop and smell the roses. You know. Yeah, man knows not by being told. Man knows by applying. You don't have to do a lot of research. Do a little bit, but go do something. Long as it hurts, then you can do what you want. So don't be scared. Don't be scared. A lot of people out here are cowards. They're scared. Why? What you scared for? You only live once. Now's the time to take a smoke break. Roll up real quick. I'm rolling up. I smoke premium gas. Premium. Comes in jars and stuff. You keep that stuff that comes in the medical for real. On the record, though, for the legal fiction, there's such thing as a natural person. Then there's such thing as an artificial person. And this is another government manipulation of language, which we already know. Government means to control, and it means mind. Okay. This is perhaps the most important thing to know is the trick. The first trick of the government is the redefinition of certain critical words in each statute. A statute can't move, so sometimes it's called an act. When they can get you to create a motion or move on it, then it's an act. Okay. When you say you understand your charge, and they can enact that statute on you. They, the so-called government, want you to assume the ordinary meanings of words so as to trick you into reading and interpreting the statute in their favor. Here is a summary of some of the trick words. Two key words that are redefined in almost every statute are the words person and individual. There are at least two persons in law, okay? A natural person is the legal entity for the human being, and an artificial person is the legal entity that is not a human being. Here are the exact definitions from Barron's Canadian Law Dictionary, 4th edition, okay? Natural person. A natural person is a human being that has the capacity for rights and duties. Artificial person. A legal entity, not a human being, recognized as a person in law to whom certain legal rights and duties may attach, such as a body corporate. You will observe that the natural person has the capacity or the ability for rights and duties, but not necessarily the obligation. The artificial person has rights and duties that may be attached, assigned by law. That's why when you're born, your name is considered a sole prop, a sole proprietorship. Everything is commercial. All crimes are commercial. Jerome Brewer says none of these other YouTube gurus have what you have to show. Peace and love. I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. We're gonna go to sole proprietorship. I need you to understand this definition, man. Sole proprietorship is the simplest business form under which one can operate a business. The sole proprietorship is not a legal entity. It simply refers to a person who owns the business and is personally responsible for its debts. This is why you prop the sole of your foot on that document. Create you a sole prop. You attach your soul, everything you own. Everything you own, man, is attached to this business. And you give it over, you attach title, you give it over to the state. Then you attach a constructive trust with the Social Security Administration, okay? All works together. The second trick of the government is to use the Interpretation Act to define words that apply to all statutes, okay? Unless redefined within a particular statute, without this knowledge, you could assume the ordinary meaning for the word you are reading, not realizing that they may have been defined by the Interpretation Act. Unless these words have been redefined in another statute, the underlying definitions for the two most important words still apply, either from the Interpretation Act or whatever dictionary they're using, okay? In the federal court, every judge has a Black Laws Dictionary sitting behind the podium. And then you can look up the definitions under 28 U.S.C. 3002. 28 U.S.C. 3002. Because ignorance of the law is no excuse. It's a maximum law. So 28 USC 3002, that's for the United States. That's where a lot of our common definitions can be found for a lot of different things. So you need to understand that individual means a natural person, and from the Income Tax Act, we can redefine individual means an artificial person. You know what I'm saying? From it just depends on which dictionary you look at. Canadian dictionary says individual means a natural person. Income Tax Act says individual means an artificial person. There's different things. From the Interpretation Act, person means a corporation. And that's what it means under 28 USC 3002. If you look up, so if we look up 28 USC 3002, these are their codes and definitions. So check this out. I'm gonna give you the definitions because this is ignorance of the law is no excuse. So 28 USC, that means United States Code. So these are the codes used in district courts. So court means any court created by the Congress of the United States, excluding the United States Tax Court. That's 28 USC 3002, subsection 2. Putting it in chat for you guys. I need y'all to see that. Court means any court created by the Congress of the United States, excluding the United States Tax Court. So if the court wasn't created by Congress, then it's a tax court. Debt means an amount that is owing to the United States on the account of a direct loan or guaranteed by the United States. So if somebody says you owe a debt, that means you owe the United States. Debtor is a person that's reliable for a debt. I didn't make these up, man. Now, person, you go down to subsection 10, person. Person includes a natural person, including an individual Indian, a corporation, a partnership, an unincorporated association, a trust, or an estate, or any other public or private entity, including a state or local government or an Indian tribe. This is why you have to always define your own definitions. Always define your own definitions. State means any of the several states. The District of Columbia, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, the Commonwealth of Northern Marinas, or any other territory or possession of the United States. So anytime you use state, that means the United States owns it. You go down to 15, United States means a federal corporation. United States means a federal corporation. And I just broke down most of the statutes. Counsel, United States attorney, that's an assistant for the United States. Any private attorney works, attorney means they work for the United States. That's number one. That's most important. They work for the United States. They're debt collectors for the United States. Period. It's in their definitions. That's the misconstrued words right there. I'll tell you it means one thing, then another. Understand means you stand under their jurisdiction. That when you say you understand, that binds you to their contract. Another trick is to use the word includes in definitions instead of using the word means. They do this in some critical definitions, like I just went over. States means the several states. States includes the several states. Are y'all following me? Hope I'm not going too fast for you. They do this in some critical definitions that they want you to misinterpret. If they use means instead of includes, then their deception would be exposed. But by using includes, they rely upon the reader to assume that includes expands the definition, whereas in reality, it restricts the definition in the same manner that means restricts the definition. These people know exactly what they're doing. It's human psychology, okay? Spelling is spellcasting, okay? You're not from England, but you're speaking English. It's curved lines and dots. It's sacred geometry. It has an effect on the mind, okay? And the way it's pronounced, everything. Here is a means definition of the word person from the Bank Act. Person means a natural person, an entity, or a personal representative. Here is an included definition of the word person from the Interpretation Act. Person or any word or expression descriptive of a person includes a corporation. To expose their deception, substitute the word means and you have a person, or any word or expression descriptive of a person means a corporation. Both means and include are restrictive in scope because they only encompass part of the whole. Typically, they are used in the following form. Person means A or B or C and nothing else. Person includes A and B and C and nothing else. Now the next trick that they do to get you to sign stuff. You hear me? With the words. First they get you with the words. Then they scare you. And then they scare you to sign up your rights. You're scared. So if you were dealing in commerce situations in so-called court, right? There's certain questions you can ask. I mean, there's so man, this stuff is endless though. Really, you just got to be around the right people. So you could ask, is there evidence of a complaining party? Just a simple yes or no will do. If the judge wants to interfere and not operating on your side, you object and ask, Your Honor, who has the burden of proof here? Judges in traffic court usually need to be reminded is supposedly the plaintiff and not the defendant who are the victims that has the burden of proof. So I might point out the following rule. The judge presiding at the trial may not testify in that trial as a witness. No objection needed be made in order to preserve this point. That's rules of evidence, okay? That's rules of evidence. Remember that. So in civil traffic cases, most rules of evidence are thrown out. So the judge can testify and cross-examine witnesses. You follow me? A judge can't cross-examine witnesses. You follow me? Does this make sense? Everybody that's been in traffic court understands what I'm talking about. Who is supposed to question the plaintiff and the defendant and the witnesses? Not the judge. Case dismissed. And we be going along with this. You follow me? So I would on the record, you can do an affidavit, whatever you want to do if you're on the record, expose the fact that the phrase, the state of whatever state you're in or the city of, is just an alter ego shared by the cop, the prosecutor, and the attorney representing them both, the pretended judge. It is merely an idea, a mental conception, or fantasy that has no real, tangible existence outside someone's head. It's just like Santa Claus, just like people dress up like Santa Claus, but that doesn't make them Santa Claus, okay? It's just an idea that may have seemed very real to you, but as you grew up, it no longer did, and for good reason. There is no state, and that's why judges refuse to comply with the rule. The Rule 9A is such presented from the Supreme Court, quoted above. Courts must look behind names that symbolize the parties. The difference, however, between Santa Claus and the state is that no one is using a gun to force me to believe in Santa. And if someone did, they wouldn't be hailed as a hero or honorable. You hear what I just said? So you gotta understand, you know what? I do with a good deed. Peace and love, Jerome Brewer. But this is for the people, man. If you feel this information of value, leave a donation via Cash App. Cash App is More Beauty 7. MOORBEAUTY7. If you're just joy to be on the replay, peace and love. Peace and love. If you've been joy to be on the live, peace and love. You're just new. Peace and love, man. Thank you for tuning in, rocking to the sounds and vibrations of DonKalam.com. I'm gonna dig deep in some of the court, so because a lot of people follow me wanting to know stuff about court, and I'm gonna tap your vibration right now. I'm up late, man. It was Friday, the holy day. So peace and love to the Moors out there that helped to raise my consciousness. I'm gonna tap in today. I need y'all to know some of the things to say to get out these situations. Because a lot of people's always asking me, how do I get out this? How do I get out that? Dealing with court issues. And I can't help you. I can't help you, man. You got to learn how to do this yourself. I can only show you the door. You truly have to learn how to do this on your own. You got to learn who you are. Once you start to learn who you are, you're not going to be scared. Once the keys are placed in front of you, you can go right and open that door. You follow me? So I'm taking this from a Dr. Samuel Kennedy process, okay? And this stuff works. So keep it simple. This is just a simple process. Keep it simple. Just starting off, keep it simple. If you don't have time to develop commercial remedies, because a lot of people do tune in from me that's in prison. So peace and love to y'all. Shout out to the people in prison, man, right now, man. Because y'all don't want to started me out anyways, getting me on this path, teaching me what I know, teaching me not to be scared. And There's always people in there hating, saying, don't do that. You're crazy. Da, 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 da. Fuck you. I will end the story. No surrender, no retreat. That's what it is. Fight to the end. Fight to the finish. If you didn't hurt nobody, you can do what you want, man. There's no victim. It's just like with estate planning, man. You have to make sure you give power of attorney to your intended attorney is in fact. You make yourself your attorney in fact, okay? Finish all outstanding commercial processes and administrative remedies, including liens that you have underway and circumstances permitting. You direct the liens against the bonds of your debtors, okay? Correct your past errors by rescinding all signatures nunc pro tunc. Nunc pro tunc makes it retroactive to the signing date because there's no such thing as time. So it goes to the beginning of time. You can put your paperwork in. You can always admit stuff in as newly discovered evidence. There's no statute of limitations on newly discovered evidence, and there's no statute of limitations on fraud, okay? So sign everything. Rescind all signatures, nunc pro tunc, retroactive to the signing date on all the slave documents that you've signed, on all the appearance bonds, on all the motions, on all the pre-trials, on all the probation agreements. If many were signed in prison, then you need to sign a global rescission, because these things get traded internationally, okay? I, Malik Kalam, a sovereign in fact, a living man on the land, living so until proven otherwise, do hereby rescind for cause of failure to disclose risk, perils, and responsibilities of all signatures executed in my natural and representative capacities, without exception on a certain appearance bond, dated, whatever your appearance bond is dated, and any and all offers, documents, instruments, and processes issued to me or legal fiction in your strawman name, in the matter of whatever the matter is, with the exception of any and all signatures executed for the purpose of accepting for value any such offers. All such offers, proceeding documents, actions, statements, and instruments are hereby accepted for value in return for full credit by notice. All such acceptance signatures, whether expressed or implied, remaining in full force and effect. That's rescission of signatures for you. And every document on the back of it, you sign and date it. You put all rights reserved without prejudice. On the front, after you get it notarized, you can put a stamp on it and sign through the stamp. Make sure it has a value on it: 2 cents, 5 cents, 50 cents, $1. As long as it has a value on it, and sign through it. You're the postmaster, okay? Now, you file a notice of waiver of benefits and privileges, okay? And notice dissolving all adhesion contracts. I'm gonna put this in the chat as well. Kush OG, peace and love. Maceo Pinker, peace and love. He said he did something. He just wait title. So we file a notice of waiver of benefits and privileges and notice dissolving all adhesion contracts. This is done nunc pro tunc as well. Standing hereafter on my rights of avoidance and give notice of same, time permitting, by filing in their county. So who you can file this stuff with? The Secretary General of the United Nations, the United States President, the Secretary of States, Department of Transportation, Department of Commerce, the Attorney Generals, Directors of the Secret Service, the FBI, Marshal Service, and Bureau of Prisons, Supreme Courts, applicable appellate circuit and district courts of the United States, the SEC, Security and Exchange Commissions, the IRS, because all courts are tax courts. When you look up the definitions we just talked about, similar notice is given to the state fiction counterparts of all the above. Make sure you settle and close all liabilities attributed to the so-called defendant. You have to redraft all contracts using the birth certificate process with the indictments and pre-trial, pre-trial documents, etc. if time permits. You want to redraft everything. See, everything is bookkeeping. They already have their system established, so now you have to learn yours. You have to learn what they're doing so you can reestablish everything that they did. Now, in order to prepare your court, you do not petition their courts. Okay, you don't petition them for nothing. You issue orders from your jurisdiction as the court. You know, they're a corporate fiction as well. They have a Duns and Bradstreet number. They're a private entity. They're just not operating on the public side. This is all private, and you make it public by agreeing to it. They're trying to take you from your private capacity and drag you to the public. They're supposed to be operating for the public, and that's what you believe, that they're public entities, but they're not. So you're the one that makes them public. You issue orders from your jurisdiction, and always invoke your higher power, your God. So your court is the court of your higher power, the one supreme court, the superior court to all others, the original jurisdiction. The Constitution is not the original jurisdiction. That's where their powers derive, not yours. It's not a jurisdiction. It's a consolidation. It's discrimination in violation of treaties. The Constitution has no authority over anybody. Think about it. It doesn't have authority over me. It doesn't have authority over your dog. It doesn't have authority over cockroaches. It doesn't have authority over spiders. It doesn't have authority over clouds. It doesn't have authority over trees. It's a simple trust document that people agree to abide by, which they don't no more. That's some stuff you need to think about. So how does the Constitution have power? Can it make your dog sit? What can it make your dog do? It remains an effective tool when used politically to exploit the need of public officials and judges to pay it lip service. You know, you can enjoy evoking a public admission of its legendary rights and remedies in earthly terms, but always present your own court, okay? When you invoke it already out the without proper status, because without status you don't have standing in court. Also, under 28 U.S.C. 1451, it defines for purpose of the removal, Chapter 1, the term state court includes the Superior Court of the District of Columbia. The term state includes the District of Columbia. All state and federal courts are in the District of Columbia circuit. We can fill the abandoned offices of county, notary, circuit of court, clerk of court, and justice of peace by filling our oath, commission, silver bond, and seal for each of these offices in the public venue. Feel so qualified, you understand? You can do it in the matter of the people. Now, it's really, you're held surety for this sole property. You're held surety for this birth certificate bond. You're held surety to it. You're held surety for collateral. You're compelled to perform, right? So, and you're considered property. So we don't file habeas corpuses. We prepare an order of demand for removal of property, a writ of prohibition, and an order of dismissal. Now, in an order of removal from the court for presentation in an open court as a foreign judgment, and sign multiple original copies for you, yourself, and your attorney in fact. And you place the seal of your corporation on them, either by embosser or draw one hand, or however you do it. You need to know who you are. So once you know, believe, and truly understand that you are the court, you act accordingly. You do not argue jurisdiction. They cannot overcome and do not allow them to overcome the authority issue. So one thing you can say or think about is, does this piece of paper grant them authority superior to my granted authority through the word of my higher power? Accordingly, I would not tolerate their questioning my authority any more than a fictitious judge would show such tolerance. By what authority do you come before me? We posture that question the very first time that actor opens his mouth. No judge would tolerate the interference of an interloper, and neither will I. I will not wait to establish my venue. If he fails to answer, I might add, by what authority does an actor in fiction come before me? By what authority does an actor in fiction present itself in my court? By what authority does an actor in fiction presume to give an order to this court? I might add, try it again and I'll hold you in contempt. I might add, try it again and I will issue a warrant for your arrest. By what authority does an actor in fiction presume to give an order in my court? Or I might move immediately to enforcement, a judge prerogative, by ordering the marshal to arrest the judge in fiction and remove him, or issuing a warrant for his arrest, or arresting the judge in fiction myself, or issuing a warrant for the arrest of his bond. If the judge questions or ridicules my authority, what court is that? What is your authority to question mine? We do not explain, we do not interpret, we do not babble. Okay? Any more than an actor judge would justify his authority. You can add, this is your first warning and only warning. Do it again and I'll arrest your bond. Do I make myself clear? Alternative statements include, are you questioning my authority? Are you presuming to question my authority? One more word and I'll hold you in contempt. If they persist, I'm issuing a warrant for the rest of your bond, sir. What's your name? We can issue the warrant orally or compose it on a piece of paper and serve it on a marshal. You're now working under my bond, and I'm ordering you to ask their name. When they ask your name, there's multiple things I would like to say. So, I am who I say I am. Who are you? You know, the master asked the questions. So, I am who I say I am. Who are you? My mother calls me son. My children call me father. Can you show me something for my name for presentment? They ask you your name, especially if you're on the record. I'm the man holding a warrant for the arrest of the bond of, and then you say the judge's name or you say the prosecutor's name or the officer's name. I'm the man holding the warrant for the arrest of your bond unless these shackles are removed this instant and my orders are obeyed. If you was in custody, these are the things you should say, because it's your court. This is why they always need your consent. You have to think from a trustee standpoint. This is just a trust hearing. This is just a business transaction. This is why they ask you if you understand your charge. Everything else is just a mere play to get you sweat equity. Now, if asked to sign anything, such as appearance bond, they're coercing you for your consent. Ask to see the document, request a pen, turn it over, and write on the reverse side, warrant for the arrest of bond of, and that person's name. I would then start trolling for names. Sir, what's your name, please? Whoever's there, what's your name? Because they're acting, they're helping out. They're part of this charade. In order to exercise your authority, like these things work, you can deputize a marshal to work under your bond. And then you can remove officers, give notice of liens, and order arrest on the record. As long as you're on the record, issue arrests, order removals from the room or the building, order removals of the case, order termination of cases, and issue original jurisdictions, great writs, and other writs. In use of all the intimidation tactics that you've learned from these actors. They're operating from a foreign jurisdiction. They need you. You're of the republic. You're of the land. They need you. Never consent to any benefits, privileges, negotiations, or submissions to any foreign authority. Okay? Don't consent to wearing a prison uniform. If they try to put you on, say, I'll put it on if you put it on. Don't consent to being shackled. Let them know I do not consent to being an overnight guest. Let them know if I'm here in the morning, I will order your arrest. You always state these things because everything's going on the record. When you're on the record, always tell them to put their delegated authority before you. They have to have an act from Congress for this to be a lawful court or it's a tax issue. Always demand the marshals to help you in finding your authority. A lot of people don't know that the marshals may shoot anyone creating a constitutional crisis to only be attempted with the knowledge of one who is saying this, okay? So if you understand this, you let them know, are you attempting to create a constitutional crisis? If they touch you or anything, you're dealing with the police, you can call the marshals and let them know they're attempting to create a constitutional crisis. Always look them straight in their eye, never back down, be fair, be calm, cool, and collected. Always let them know you're coming for their bonds. The grand jury will be returning a true bill. Let them know you will be indicted for your high crimes here today. Your time as an actor in this little drama is coming to a close. You will not be able to earn a living as a lawyer in fiction. Let them know. Always display your authority. Always order things done. I like to create a covenant of peace to establish authority. My covenant of peace is in the presence of Allah, and it's a peace bond. And lets them know I am a judge and sovereign in fact, living man on the land and judge to the original jurisdiction. I'm in my private capacity. Do hereby enter into the solemn covenant in the presence of the Lord to renounce violence, aggression, belligerence in our private intercourse, and conduct ourselves lawfully and peacefully under the law, under the word of the Lord. Love thy brother as you would love thyself. Refusal to sign this document or similar dishonest compromises the refusing party's confession that I am public property. And then you sign it and date it. Always demand, where do the presumed authority derived? Is your presumed authority superior to the authority of our higher powers? Yes or no? Am I public property? Yes or no? Does the defendant in fiction on your paper have fingerprints? Did you or do you wish to fingerprint me? Why? Ask these things. I'm speaking to you through the act of a physical motion. Can the defendant in fiction speak? The Bible's a factor in the courtroom, so you can always introduce the Bible as well. Let them know I'm standing here, not before you as the court. Here is the order of the court dismissing this case. Remove these shackles. I intend to leave. I'm standing here as the court. I'm ordering this case dismissed, and I would like to file the order with the clerk as a foreign judgment. I'm standing here as the court. Here is the great writ. Marshal, please give this to that man, the judge in fiction. Does anyone come before me with authority to hold the demanded? No, then I hereby order the dismissal of this case in fiction. Now remove these shackles. I'm here standing as the court. I hereby issue a great writ of demand of removal of private property in original jurisdiction. Does anyone have the authority to come before me and to plead just cause to hold the demanded? No, then I hereby order the dismissal of the case in fiction and the release of the body. Now remove these shackles. My public business is concluded. They ask if you're an attorney. I happen to be an attorney in fact. I understand you to be an attorney in fiction. Where is your authority? How do you deign to question my authority? What gives you that authority, sir? How do you presume it? I'm standing here as the court. I hereby issue of the great writ, I hereby issue a great demand and removal of private property in my original jurisdiction. Does anybody have the authority to come before me and plead just cause to hold this affiant? There won't be a peep. There won't be a peep. The higher the judge, the more he knows what you've done. No one comes before me. Then I hereby order the dismissal of this case in fiction and the release of the body. Remove these shackles. My public business is concluded. Make sure you fire your attorneys, man. But you got to understand this too. Everything is about the 1099 OID. Everything is taxes. So always request the 1099 OID on the record. Do you have a 1099 OID on the charges? Regardless of what they say, I would ask all parties and interests, including the clerk. If not, then my public business is concluded. At that point, we would depart. If they deny being in commerce, don't give me any of your commercial garbage. That's what you tell them. Then tell them, oh, really? I guess that's not a bailiff, and you don't issue bonds. This is what you say. Or you tell them, why don't you lie to me one more time and I'll arrest your bond and have you removed for good? Is that what you want? These are the things you have to get on the record. But man, this is the stuff I go over. This is the private knowledge, man. This is what we do at DocKalab.com, man. All you have to do is do your own research and study. You find this information value. I don't care if it's $1, I don't care if it's $5, I don't care if it's $10. Thank you, William Council, for the donations, man. Thank you for everybody. I'm gonna check the donations right now. You can also you can become a member on the YouTube. Peace and love, Timothy. Peace and love. I got a donation on the from Patrick on the PayPal. Peace and love. Peace and love, William Council. I got your donation. Peace and love. I'm about to accept it right now on the Cash App. The Cash App is More Beauty 7. MOORBEAUTY 7. That's MOORBEAUTY 7. Or you can go to donkalam.com/donate. So Timothy, man, much peace and love. Timothy donated $1, man. Every dollar counts. Every dollar counts, man. Every dollar adds up. If it doesn't make sense, then it doesn't make dollars. Also, another way to help out is by hitting like, subscribe, share. But we can always make wave and make things happen with a monetary gain because we're coming to cities near you. That helps out with travel. Every time I come to a city near you, I feed the family, man. You can ask anybody that's been to my events. We eat together. We eat together. You know, we grind together. I like to share the love, man. So your donation goes a long way. I feed families. That's what I do, man. I do a lot of charity work as well. That's what I do. You know, 2/3 of my time is charity work. A lot of people don't understand that. That's why I get upset when people ask me for handouts because they don't understand a lot of charity work that I'm doing. I love helping people that's already investing in themselves and grinding and getting it. Them ambitious people. That's who I'm here for, man. So, man, I just dropped some of that crack, that knowledge, man. So if you find this valuable, leave a donation on the Cash App, More Beauty 7, MOORBEAUTY 7. You can call or text me directly at 407-274-5161, and someone will get back to you as soon as possible. The waiting list is out the roof, though, so don't expect a call back. Okay, you hear me? You don't have to. Don't expect a call right back. I'm not gonna get to you as soon as possible. We got private members that we're taking care of. If you want to come up with one of the classes, sign up for the classes. We have classes, and we're going to be having weekly classes We got other businesses that we're having store to teach you about estate planning, teach you about trust, teach you about business planning on the public side so you can generate that income. Maceo said I didn't have to put him on blast. No, I'm just shouting out, man. Thank you. I appreciate every donation, whether it's $1, whether it's $5, whether it's $10, whether it's $50, whether it's $100, whether it's $500. We have multiple donations, man. But I appreciate you. And just like other people, man, you can ask some people out there, man. Once their donations add up, man, I'll give you a call. I give you a call. Once they add up, I give you a call. You feel me? We go through them like, hey, this brother been dropping a lot of donations. Let's give him a call. Let's give him something, man. Let's give back. Let's see what he needs help with. You follow me? This is the stuff I do. This is the stuff I pay attention to. This is stuff that's that slow build. That's that slow drip. That slow build. You follow me? You never know what I'm going through that day. I might have needed that money that day for somebody. I might have needed it for me. I might have been hungry that day. You know, just because you see me out here moving the groove and living on credit, I still got to pay back those credit card bills. Because if I don't pay back those credit card bills, then I don't have credit. If I decide to offset that credit, then I don't have credit no more. You follow me? I'm living off credit. I'm allowing people to see this. I'm living off credit. So I pay back this credit. I revolve this credit. You follow me? And I'm in the process, I'm creating a net worth for myself. I'm doing asset protection for myself. I'm building legacies for myself. I'm building generational wealth for myself. I'm building things that's going to stand the test of time. Learn how to think outside this box. You got to learn how to think outside this box and learn how to take this debt and leverage it for your benefit. Take some loans and leverage it for your benefit. Invest in yourself, invest in your talents, because that's what it's all about. It's nothing to go in there and start buying businesses. This is what I'm teaching people how to do. If you don't have any ideas for yourself and you're just ambitious, I'm gonna teach you how to go in there and go to these banks and learn how to they'll give you money to go work out deals. Once you got the deal worked out with a business, you just go into the bank. You go in there, act like you got it already. Get a business to sell it. Then you walk into the bank. You take this plan into the bank because you already got it. This is what I show people how to do. You follow me? If you don't have your own business, I'll show you how to go in there, talk some people into selling shares of the business. And then you go in the bank with this plan in motion. And the bank will take care of you. You follow me? This is what we do here at DonKalam.com. You feel me? Stay tuned, man. Much peace and love. I love y'all. I do this for y'all.